Well, we're all set for episode 15, where tonight we're going to review one item and reveal another.
And what are we reviewing?
We're reviewing a Gurkha Centurian Perfecto.
Have you triple tappy this?
Yes, I have. We like to triple tappy these cigars, smoke them 3 times before giving a review. By smoking it 3 times, you're smoking in different environments and conditions, so that will add value to the review.
A triple tappy?
Yes, a triple tappy. Over the last 2 days, I've smoked 2 of these already, and tonight we'll complete the circuit.
Well, this is an unusual shape. What is this?
This is a Perfecto. It's got the contouring on both ends of the cigar. We've only reviewed one of these before. I think it was episode 3. We smoked La Aurora Preferido.
And the cigar you've chosen is a nod to what's under this cover, which is also Perfecto shaped.
Yeah, and that's what we'll be revealing tonight. The Cigar Ops custom built Perfecto smoking table, which nobody else has seen before.
Well, yeah, except for everybody who's seen the thumbnail for this.
People should just ignore the thumbnail.
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of the thumbnail. We want people to see this table.
Well, then why is it covered?
Drama, mystery, suspense. I don't know. Don't you have a cigar review to do?
Yeah, we're reviewing the Gurkha Centurian Perfecto, because it's shaped like the table. And, it proves to be an interesting cigar. Smoking lamps lit, so let's light them up. Look. See how it starts out uneven a little bit?
You think that's going to even up?
With any luck. Well, we'll get to the Gurkha Perfecto again later. But first, let's talk about this table. You built this at the same time you were making some patio furniture.
That's right. I actually finished these tables in February of 2025, which was about a year ago. And you remember we did a private reveal for you and your brother Trent when he was out visiting from back east. And we're going to show that reveal tonight.
Well, let's spool up the private reveal video.
Sounds good.
What?
Wow. Wow.
Look at that bad boy.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very good likeness.
It has kind of a tobacco leaf, a skateboard, a surfing board.
I think like cigar shape is the...
Or a cigar shape.
Perfecto.
Yeah,
Yes.
Perfecto. The texture is very cigar tobacco
This
leaf.
is designed to look like teak and then weathered wood. This is a photograph of teak printed on cloth. So first you glue it down with some spray adhesive, cut it and glue it down, get the edges around the corners real tight. And then I did the same thing with the lighter cloth for the ash. The company that makes these is called Stealth Bales. It was like $35. So after you glue it down, then you put a saturation coat of epoxy. It's a fairly thin coat just to get it impregnate the cloth with the epoxy. So then you put the flood coats after you sand it down, and I did 2 flood coats, and then a top coat. And the top coat takes a lot of the sheen out of it. I could have gone with a high gloss, but I like this because we're going to be using it with cameras and such.
Yeah. And where are the legs of it? You actually have that sitting on stools.
I'm actually going with some legs that look like mid-century table.
Huh.
We're going for that
Mid-century
look.
trend? You tracking that?
Yeah, no.
Look kind of like a 1950s style, 1960s.
Cool.
That century.
So let's take a look at the final product.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
And there she be. Cigar Operations bespoke mid-century smoking table. As bespoken by Tim Stutler.
Bespoken. Shouldn't that be bespoken or The spanking?
Let's just go with design and fashion.
All right.
By the way, those are some shapely legs.
Oh, thank you. This table is made from 2 3/4-inch layers of MDF board, glued and clamped together. I primed and painted the underside with 2 coats of primer and 2 coats of outdoor barn paint, and waterproofed it further with polyurethane. Then I drilled holes and mounted the legs with wood screws.
The effect of taking off the black quilted covering and looking at this table is stunning. Under the lights, the look of it is spectacular.
Indeed.
It's awesome.
Well, I think it's just what the channel needed. But before we can certify it as the official centerpiece of Cigar Ops, we need to test its metal.
Really? I mean, that's a shame for a nice table like this.
Oh, no. We're not going to be testing this table directly. You remember some of the earlier photographs, we had pictures of a couple sacrificial pieces of MDF board, which we prepared just for this test. I present exemplars 1 and 2.
All right. Well, before we start our torture testing, let's see where we're at with our cigars. My ash hasn't even fallen, and out of the triple tappy, this one's the most even that I've had. I don't think you'll ever get a razor line on this cigar, but it's relatively even, and smoke output, it's pretty good. Well, I'm surprised they evened out the way it has. Flavor-wise, it's different than a lot of cigars out there. Like, one thing you can start with, what it doesn't have what's so common, you know, a sweetness or like a vegetal. The flavor that comes out is more in the nut family, like a chestnut or an almond type of thing. But to me, the more spectacular thing is the retrohale. It's almost like, it's not just pepper. I mean, there's a little pepper in it, you could say, but there's an astringency to it that's really interesting. I mean, yeah, it's just a very nice feeling. So the overall effect of the nut category of flavors and the astringency with light pepper makes it a very interesting and enjoyable smoke. Now, another thing about this, you may have noticed or not, is the flavor does change. Now, as you smoke the cigar, that happens typically in Perfectos just based on the shape of the cigar. But this cigar, at the beginning, the flavors aren't very pronounced, but they become more pronounced, and the cigar becomes a little stronger as it progresses, and that astringency, that pleasant pepper, I would almost call it a unique sensation in cigars. There's a little bit of a uniqueness to it. So what do you think?
I like it. It does smoke a little faster than I'm used to. I'm not sure why that is, but the flavor is very good. I do detect that pepper.
We'll comment on the cigar a little more after the testing, but shall we?
Sure.
Well, I'm in the testing area now. What's the first test?
Well, we put exemplar 1 outside in the Southern California sun and elements 5 weeks ago. Now, we would have put it out a year ago, but the idea didn't occur to me until 5 weeks ago. The final epoxy coat touts itself as UV resistant, so I don't expect any damage, particularly after just 5 weeks.
Well, there's definitely no fading and no miscoloring of the clear coat. So it passed that test.
So Todd, can you give us a realistic scenario that this table is probably going to face?
Well, I think we've all had a friend who's placed a lit cigar on the edge of the table or dropped a lit cigar on the table. So for the second test, we're going to mimic this scenario.
So that is not your Centurion, that is a sacrificial cigar.
Yes, and I'm stoking it nice and hot. We'll place that right on the edge.
All right, Todd, this friend of yours who left his cigar burning on the table, he gets up for a drink, but he tosses some tools and such carelessly on the table first.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what that did to it. It looks good. It looks like there was no damage from the tools and implements thrown on the sample.
And then let's say your friend, he comes back from your refrigerator with a frosty, ice-cold beer and a cup of hot coffee that you just brewed. All right, now let's take a look at the damage from the cigar that your friend left burning on the table.
It left a residue of nicotine stain that just wipes right off with your finger.
Well, let's take a look at the damage done by that hot coffee and the cold beer.
Nothing.
So your friend is a klutz too. After putting his beer bottle and coffee cup on your table, he promptly knocks them over.
Oh, jeez.
And not satisfied with that, he raids your liquor cabinet, gets your whiskey, and also your wine cellar.
Really?
And then he walks away.
My friend is kind of a dick.
Well, he's your friend. All right, Todd, we've cleaned up the mess. How does it look?
It cleaned up nicely. This board is stain resistant, heat and cold resistant. It passed those tests.
Yeah, and by the way, those blemishes on there were on there before.
Oh, these ones.
Well, let's say your friend is not happy with that, so he decides he's going to up the game. He starts dropping random heavy and sharp objects on it.
The knife ding left a small hole here. The rock did the most damage. A slight chip right there. Minor damage.
All right, Todd, your friend is not happy with that damage he's done, so he decides to tramp some mud on your table.
Yeah, I stopped it in a little bit.
Your friend is a rude bugger. He's going to try to wash it off with boiling water.
Still hot. Oh my goodness. I can't believe that ground in mud with tiny... Wow, look at that. Oh wait.
Oh, is that where you ground it in?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
ground in with the foot.
All right, let's say that your uncouth, clumsy jerk friend, who's always shown poor judgment, now wants to light his cigar a new way. He wants to lay it flat on the table and torch it from above.
Interesting.
What'd you get?
There is a burn mark.
So this table is not impervious to damage. Well, Todd, that concludes the torture test. What do you think?
The first one, the one that had the sun exposure, is completely unscathed. To me, the most impressive test was that lit cigar on the finish. Like this one with a hot butane torch directly on it made this little mark, but the cigar, the lit cigar, fully stoked, left no mark at all.
And we did get some dings from the saw blade, the knife, other things that you would kind of expect. But I've got to tell you, if I did any of this to my dining room table at home, it would have destroyed the table.
Do you want to know what the most important thing I learned from this testing?
What's that?
I need to be more discriminating with my friends.
Here's the better friends.
The better friends. Now we can make our final comments on the cigar.
You got anything left there?
For the sake of the episode, I had to smoke this a little past what I normally would. It's falling apart, and the final edge of the wrapper came off. But I want to emphasize, there's no ding on the cigar, because the only reason I kept it alive was to try and get to the end of the episode. I love this cigar.
Gurkha Centurion.
Yes, sir. So the next time we get together, we're going to do our 3-month fitness update, right?
That's right. We're at the halfway point now, and it's really going pretty well. I feel really good. I'm moving a lot better. I feel a lot stronger. I can tell my body is being reshaped.
Well, similarly, I feel stronger, and I'm very happy to be in a fitness habit again.
And what are we going to be smoking for the halfway point review?
The halfway point review is going to be the Punch Knuckle Buster. We've already smoked the Punch Bare Knuckle, as you recall, the little short ones. Well, that's it for now. It's a good time to wrap up. My cigar almost made it to the end. But before we wrap up, I thought of one final test.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be able to do another take.
Yeah, that'll do it then.